In our previous video, we looked at how to perform an interim or a checkout report against the system when we didn't have a previous inventory. In this example, as you can see, we have an address set up with the tenant and a completed inventory against that property. So what we're going to look at now is how we can add a report, or how the system, if you like, comes into its own when we do a checkout against a previous inventory. So I've chosen to add a report. I'll just go back and show you where I found that again. So next to the tenancy name, against that cog, there is an option on there to add report. So I've clicked onto that. It then takes me through into the set up new report screen. And this is where I can choose the type of report I want to create. So in this instance, I'm going to choose a checkout report. Let's assume the tenant's moving out of the property and I wish to do a checkout. I can then also choose from the box underneath whether or not I wish to copy the contents from a previous report. So in this case, yes, I'm going to choose I want to copy the contents from the previous check-in report. I'm going to then choose Save and Next in the bottom right. As you will see, it will then open up the screen for me, and it brings any information through that's relevant to a checkout, but more importantly, it will have dragged through any information from my previously completed report. So I've gone into rooms and spaces. I'm now going to go into the entrance hallway and just show you an example. So obviously, as with an interim report, when you're actually at the property, the chances are you're not going to go through each individual item one by one. It's more a case of doing a visual check around the room and seeing if there are any issues that you wish to identify. So let's just say on the front door, I wanted to identify something. So when I click on that, as you can see, it takes me through into the screen and it shows me the previous description. It pulls that previous description through for me. It also brings through the previous photograph for me, which I can expand large on the screen, which is really useful if I'm live at the property. I could then choose to add a new photograph. So let's just say that there was an issue with the door handle. I've already got a picture ready here for that. So I've now added in a new picture of the door handle. And I could then go in onto the notes and add some information. So it might be, for instance, I could choose from the library. So it might be that we have, say, a tarnished handle on the front. It might be scratched on the reverse side. I could then add those options in to the description and then add extra photographs. I could then go in and change the condition. So if the condition was previously good but it's now poor, I could rate that accordingly. I could also do the same with the cleanliness as well. So as you can see, we always show what the previous condition was, but we also allow you to replace it with a new current description. We also have some options for you to identify any particular issues. So let's just say that this door needed repair. I could say yes to that. Now, of course, you don't have to answer all of those questions. You don't have to say yeses and nos, but you can. So you can go straight to an item, identify that it needs repair, take a photograph, change the description, and then also change the descriptor. So there we have. I've gone straight to the door and I've identified some issues. I'm now going to hit Save and Next on that particular item. But let's just say then that was the only issue that I'd identified in this property. Rather than, as before, going through each individual item and checking them off, I could just come back into the overview for that room and then confirm I've inspected that room in the bottom right. And then that will effectively inform the system that we've inspected everything in that room. I then hit Overview and Done. And then it takes me back out into my overview screen. And then just to identify some other areas that are useful when you're doing a checkout and it's pulling previous information through, if I go into the checkout screen, for instance, it will show me the previous photographs of keys, and it will ask me, do the keys handed back match up with those from check-in? So I would say, for instance, yes to that. I could also do the same with appliance manuals. I can then identify if the doors and the windows have been locked before exit, if all the tenants' items, rubbish and food have been removed. I could even go as far as putting in tenant forwarding address, any action required by the tenant, populate all those fields, and then hit done when I'm happy with everything. So it's a case of going through with meter readings as well, of course, and identifying a new meter reading. And as you can see as well, we always pull through the previous information. So I can overtype the new meter reading, but I can always refer back to the previous reading because it will show just underneath. So there we have. That's a quick overview as to how you might go about doing a checkout report on the system whereby you have a previous inventory already set up. It becomes very intuitive, pulling previous information through, and then most importantly, when it creates that final report, it puts everything side by side. So photographs show side by side, as do meter readings, descriptions, so on and so forth.